Hello, today I'd like to talk about Dead Rising 3, which, while isn't exactly a horror game, I guess it has zombies in it, so it is from that aspect, but it's certainly not scary. But I think it's a really interesting game, and honestly, I think it's the most next-gen game of everything out there. Which, people complain like, oh, it's 720p, 30 frames a second, and sometimes the frame rate drops below 30 frames a second. But to me, it's an experience that couldn't be done on the previous generation. And I don't think the same could be said for pretty much any other, next-gen game. First-person shooters, they're not doing anything all that new other than bumping up the visual fidelity, and I think a lot of it is just visual fidelity. But Dead Rising 3 to me is really doing more than could be done last gen, and it creates a really interesting experience. And the main thing they're doing that couldn't be done is just the sheer number of zombies and sort of the world is really great. I'm drawing a blank for adjectives, but it really feels alive, and they have seamless streaming. They have, I don't know, 3 or 4 little zones, and well, they're pretty big zones, but it's an open world game. It's probably not the biggest open world game, but well, I don't even care for open world games. I really loved this. And I think the reason it's so appealing is partially, I like zombies, and there are just so many of them. Like, I haven't finished the game yet, and I think my zombie kill count is like 23,000, which is awesome. And, you can just get this steamroller motorcycle combo and just plow down 100 zombies, or you craft a weapon combo and kill like 40 zombies at a time. But the amazing thing about it, the thing that they can do that they couldn't do previous generations, is just the density, the quantity of zombies. I mean, maybe if they were all sprites or something, you could do something similar, or if they were really simplified. But I think even still, it would be difficult to track the behavior and the quantity of zombies they had on the previous generations. So it's really exciting. And while you might say, oh, that's just a detail or whatever, I mean, there are so many zombies, they interact with you, they all have their separate behavior. It really creates this amazingly bleak world where things are so totally overrun by zombies. And I mean, certainly Dead Rising on the previous generation had pretty high zombie counts, for the previous generation. But just the idea of putting them in this open world setting, and there's zombies everywhere, and they're always doing something. You don't see zombies popping on. Occasionally you'll see zombies like crawling out of sewers and stuff. And like I said, I don't really like open world games. I didn't honestly really expect to like Dead Rising 3, but I mean, I'm really into it. And another sort of interesting aspect of it is somehow, I mean, it's kind of silly. You can dress up in ladies' lingerie, or a schoolgirl outfit, or a furry shark suit, and despite that, I have this emotional buy-in. Like, I normally don't care much for side missions, but I've been doing all of them just because I want to save these virtual characters, and I feel guilty. Like, I had a tag-along person that you can get a posse and they'll follow you, and I had one early on, and I didn't really know how to manage it, and you had to give her weapons and food and stuff like that, and so I let her die, and then I felt guilty. I felt guilty for letting a non-player character die. So I'm not saying that this is the most emotional game and you'll get the same emotional resonance, but at least for me, it's been interesting. And while a lot of the characters are silly or stereotypes or gross and weird and maybe not that well written. There was a particularly interesting side mission of a lady who's dying of cancer, and she just wants to relive her memories, and I thought that was kind of powerful, even in the context of a very silly game. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Dead Rising 3. I really love the fact that it's a new experience. The world has so many more enemies than you could do previously, and feels so much more alive and bleak, and it really has this amazing sort of post-zombie apocalypse feel. You feel like you're in The Walking Dead. I mean, that's what it keeps reminding me of is The Walking Dead. When they just encounter these huge swarms of enemies. I mean, obviously, there's not that interpersonal interactions, but there is that sort of bleak. Humanity isn't going to survive. There are so many zombies. Feel so. Definitely an exciting game, and if you have an Xbox One, I think you should definitely pick it up.